Hello and welcome to this After Effects tutorial. My name is Flo from Flomotion, and today you are going to learn how you can recreate this animation. The first thing we have to do is, of course, tracking this short clip so that we can later on work on a stabilized version of it. And for this stabilization, we will use the Mocha Import Plus, which is a really cool tool. And after we have created a stabilized precomp, we will work in this precomp to get this nice animation going, this physics simulation where this circle is jumping out of the toaster and bouncing on the table. And after we have done that, we will create this shadow in 3D space, which is reacting to the circle. So we have a lot of stuff to do here today, so let's get started. I have already created a new project file here, and I have imported this breakfast table clip. So let's drag this on this new composition icon, let go, and we have this new composition with this small clip. So when I scrub through it, you can see that it's just this small clip without anything jumping out of the toaster. Okay, so let's directly track this clip with Mocha. And let me quickly tell you something, because we are in CS 5.5 right now, and in the new Adobe After Effects version, the CS6 version, you can simply go to animation and there will be the track in Mocha. But as I want to show you the whole workflow with the Mocha Import Plus tool, let me quickly open this window. And here I have the Mocha Import Plus installed. And here I have it. By the way, you can always click over here and then you can position your window wherever you wanna have it. Maybe next to the effects and presets. And later on we also need the eye expressions window somewhere so that we can work way easier. And for that, let me just quickly tell you something. You can always select your workspace over here. And if you have your windows positioned right, where you want to have them, you can just save it by clicking on New Workspace. Let me quickly cancel this because I have already created a workspace called Flomotion. And there we have it, we have the Mocha Import Plus, and over here we have our eye expressions for later on. It's just a quick tip so you can organize way better. For example, you can have a workspace for tracking, a standard workflow, and of course you can use the pre-installed ones like paint, effects, animations and all that nice stuff. Okay, so let's quickly take a look on the Mocha Import Plus. Of course you have the track in Mocha button and you have all of these settings here with colors. So red and green, and some of those lights are on and some are off. And it always tells you what you can do when you have selected one of those options here. For example, later on we want to create a stabilized precomp, and if we select it, you can directly see that we can later on choose if we want to have it as a corner pin or as transform data, and we don't have anything loaded yet. So let's start by tracking in Mocha. So I have to select my clip and go to track in Mocha. Okay, here in Mocha I have my timeline and I can scrub through the clip and I can select an area which I want to drag. I can go over here to the Create X Spline Layer tool and I can now create a shape around the area which I want to track. And as I later on want my circle to jump out here, bounce somewhere here, bounce against here, I have to somehow use this area here. And by clicking the right mouse button, you can close your spline. And you always have the opportunity to change the shape of your spline. Something like this looks fine for me. And now I just click over here on the track forward. For some more advanced trackings, you could always go just one frame forward, so you are always able to check your tracking. But as this should work quite good, let's just hit the track forward button. And you just have to keep in mind that the tracking gets slower the bigger your defined area gets. Okay, now the tracking is done. We can once again scrub through our clip and we can directly see that the shape is sticking quite good to the footage. You can see over here at the end, when this box is sliding to the right, you can see that we have kind of a issue here. But let's see how this will work later on. What we have to do now is we have to define the area which will be stabilized later on. And for that we click on this surface button. And now we can define what our stabilized precomp will look like later on. Because those 4 corner points will be the corner points for our pin tool later on, which will distort everything in a way that we can use it. Okay, as we have done this, let's just export the tracking data. And for that, we just go to File, Export Tracking Data. And as we have seen in After Effects for our stabilized precomp, we can use After Effects corner pin data or transform data. But for now, as we have defined this area already, we want to use the corner pin. And it also says over here, supports RG Warp, which is Red Giant, which is a plugin, and Mocha import. And that's what we want. So we click Save. And as you can see here, Mocha also creates a folder called Mocha Tracks for us. And I have already saved one of those breakfast table txt files. So let's simply override it, or even better, call this one version 2 and hit Save. Okay, now we can switch back to After Effects. Back here, we can now click on the Load button and go to our folder and click on the breakfast table 02 and hit OK. It asks me which clip I tracked. For this composition we just have one, and so everything is okay. We want a stabilized precomp, and as you can see, the light is now shining green, so everything is fine. And we could click the apply button now, but before we do that, let's just quickly duplicate this clip by hitting Ctrl D or simply edit, duplicate. Now we click on the top version and hit the apply button. And as you can see, nothing has changed. And when I scrub through the clip, you can see everything looks the same. And that's exactly the way it should be. And if I hide now the bottom clip, you can see that I now, in this breakfast table precomp, I just have the area which I had defined in Mocha. And when I go into the precomp now by simply double clicking on it, you can see that I have in here a composition which is full frame. It has simply distorted the whole clip in a way that it is now stabilized. So as you can see, the horizon stays the same. So let me just quickly show you what this could be good for. So I quickly create a new solid by layer new solid, call this one the circle, make it black, hit OK. And now I go to the mask tool, select the ellipse tool, and simply create a circle and bring it over here to the corner of this toaster. And when I go back now into the breakfast table composition, you can see that it sticks to the toaster. Let me quickly also turn on the other version. And when I'm playing this one back, you can see it is distorted like it should be. Okay, so let's go back into our precomp. Let's maybe quickly call this one stabilized precomp, just to keep it organized. And we can also precomp our circle by going to a layer, and it's all the way down here, precompose. And you can also do this by hitting Ctrl Shift C. And let's call this the circle. Okay, now we can open up our circle composition. And just to keep this also organized, let's click on this button, the region of interest, and just crop our circle. And now we can go to composition, crop comp to region of interest. And there we have it. Now let's maybe make this look a bit nicer, and for later maybe plug a hole in here that we can later on see the shadow a bit better. And to do that, we simply hit M so that we can see our mask, hit Ctrl D for duplicate, and now we want to subtract the second mask. Now you can see nothing because the first mask adds the black and the second mask subtracts it. So by hitting M twice, MM, you can see the mask settings, and now we just expand the second one. Okay, looks nice. And just for the sake of it, let's duplicate it. Go to solid settings, maybe make this one grayish color. Hit the F button for feather. And simply feather this, maybe also play just really quickly with our mask expansion. Okay, so just really quick and dirty, just so that it looks a bit nicer. And now we can close our circle comp. So back here in our stabilized precomp, we have now everything set up, ready to start animating with eye expressions. To learn how to do that, you just have to watch the second part of this tutorial. So see you in part 2.